This morning, communities across Central Ohio are getting you into the holiday spirit. The dramatic moment a Columbus police officer helps rescue a man in the middle of a mental emergency is all recorded on body camera video, and you'll only see it right here on Good Day Columbus. The former president had a deep tie right here in Columbus, both to a country club and an annual tournament. Alexis Moberger shows us how his legacy will continue right here in Central Ohio.
Just a bullet on that one.
And if we're going to get a white Christmas, we're going to ask them that every weekend.
Every weekend we will be
I always just say yes.
Maybe just one more year so we can make it to the playoffs. I just felt like just hang in there.
I think that's what everybody was kind of hoping for.
Take 5 oil change also told me that all employees will be taking mandatory anti-discrimination training by early this year. And employees right here where it all happened here along Reynoldsburg, New Albany Road, well, they're going to be completing their training by this week.
It's great to do it with the kids.
How does your star look so good?
Look at that
Just
bad boy.
go
All right, we gotta wrap
We'll
this
be
up.
right back
Nice
with the
job.
world record you want to
Look
hear
at
to
that, we
believe.
got it.
I need an
Best part,
hour to
Catherine.
finish. Oh, I was just going to ask you if you know how to surf. I'll take that as a no, the mumbling.
I mean, I grew up in Ohio. I mean, I've tried.
Oh, okay.
I'm not an expert surfer.
Okay.
I mean, I'm fairly athletic, as you can tell by looking at me. I mean, obviously.
Well,
so
people
let's talk
probably
about the
want to know
weather.
when to ski, because then we want some snow.
Well, guess what?
Not today. With Christmas gatherings coming up, how about using some high-tech cooking help to make cooking that dinner just a little bit easier? This is something you have to see to believe, so we do want to let you know that your driver is okay this morning. But let's check out the video. This is BMW, which hits a barrier. The Salvation Army and their bell ringers were out and about collecting for those in need, and they got a bit of help from the Good Day Columbus team. ABC's Alex Stone has the exclusive video as the fiance was taken into custody. In the holiday spirit, then, to get a little crafty and make gingerbread houses, it's a tradition many families do every year.
Wait, I'm still going.
Oh, Maria, stop, you're cheating.
Wait, I want lights over here.
George H.W. Bush had both political and family ties right here in Central Ohio. And for some Ohioans, they have a special connection with the former president.
Iraq's army.
The admiration, and I just thought I need to get a note off to him.
More than 20 years ago, Air Force veteran Gary Hyman wrote a letter to former President George H.W. Bush.
My respect for him, maybe him as a veteran, and I'm a veteran, and maybe there was a little bit of a shared brotherhood in that.
He read his letter to us.
Reads, and it was dated August 28th, 1998. Dear President Bush, earlier this evening, my wife informed me that you were to be on A&E. I'm very happy she did this.
George Bush, a president story.
Gary says the 1998 documentary shined a light into the intimate life of the former president.
There's George, Jeb. That's got to be Neil and Marvin.
And there's one part of the documentary he will never forget,
In that
his sense of
interview,
humor.
As he was being pulled out of the water into the submarine, he said, I was a skinny little wretch
in those days.
And I remember laughing about that one. That was pretty cool.
Something else he won't forget, when the former president actually responded to his letter 4 weeks later.
I thought immediately when I saw that, I said, whoa, he's writing me back. He must be.
Both letters hang on his wall, along with his memories of when he served in the military.
Dear Gary, thanks so much for writing about the A&E program.
As he read Bush 41's letter to us,
I'm delighted you like the show, and your kind words mean a great deal to me.
he was a little emotional.
That struck me. Sincerely, that's his George Bush signature, yeah.
A proud moment he will forever treasure.
Yeah, it's good to have.
Especially now as the former president is laid to rest. In West Jefferson, Jackie Orozco, ABC 6 News.
She says she was so high she didn't even realize she'd given birth. Now Sandra says she's more than 120 days sober and fighting for custody of her kids. It's a story you'll only see right here on Good Day Columbus.
Giving Elias the opportunity to have a sober mom, his whole life. Like, I haven't ever been able to do that.
Fighting to stay sober for this little guy, Elias Fry.
If I don't keep my recovery first, I'm not going to have my kids anyway. You have to have to make that your top priority.
But it hasn't been easy. Elizabeth Sanders says she first started using drugs with an ex when she was 20 years old. She went from using Percocet, then heroin and Xanax.
So I was trying to escape reality.
The 26-year-old mom has 2 other kids. Sanders' mom has full temporary custody. The court said she couldn't live at her mother's house. Then on August 3rd is when she hit rock bottom.
There is a guy that looks like he's OD in my parking lot. He's in the front, and his girlfriend is in the bathroom. She looks like she's on something.
Chillicothe police body cam video shows how Sanders was passed out at this Burger King bathroom.
She gave birth to a baby boy in the toilet, and they thought it was dead. There's blood everywhere.
It was the Xanax and the heroin, just snorting them both together, and that's the big effect from the Xanax is that you don't remember. Waking up at the hospital, not being pregnant anymore, that was probably, and not knowing what happened. You know, that's what was really scary.
Today, Sanders says she and her boyfriend, Zach Fry, are both sober, and their son is doing well.
He's in the right percentile for height, weight. He has no medical issues at all. He's perfectly healthy.
But says she'll never forget how he was born.
I hate that it happened. I hate how everything happened, but I truly do not know if it wouldn't have happened that I would be clean right now or that I would even be alive, because
What a powerful story there. And you said that she was in court on Friday.
Yeah, she's still fighting, again, to get custody, but her mother's watching the 2 kids. Yeah, it sure is. And she's very inspiring, a very strong woman as well. Now, Elizabeth Sanders told me she and her boyfriend snorted heroin and Xanax at the same time when she was 8 months pregnant. Now, this is police body cam video right behind me that captured the moments after she gave birth to her son inside a toilet at this Burger King. This was back in August. And today, Sanders is living at a sober house, and she says she feels great, and her baby boy as well.
August 3rd is still a blur for Elizabeth Sanders.
I kind of remember having like an urge to go to the bathroom, you know, and then that was it.
Her boyfriend and baby's father also high on Xanax and heroin that day. He was found passed out in his car.
What are you doing, sleeping out here?
No, my girlfriend was in there.
You were passed out, man. You were drooling all over the place.
While Sanders had no idea she was giving birth to her baby in the bathroom.
We both were had no heartbeat, either one of us, whenever they got there.
It's been almost 4 months when a baby boy was born in a toilet right here at this Burger King. Today, he's as healthy as he can be, and so is his mom. Sanders has been living here at Cheryl's House of Hope for more than a month. Her mother has full temporary custody of her 2 boys, including Elias Fry, but she's fighting to get them back.
I'm gonna chase my sobriety like I chased the dope.
Sanders has been fighting addiction since she was 20 years old. She says she tried to get help when she was pregnant.
The place I went to detox, like I said, I got turned away because I had a positive pregnancy test. And here in Chillicothe, there aren't any resources like that unless you just want to be on an outpatient program.
Now she feels like her life is back on track for the first time.
Nobody should ever feel like that there's no way to bounce back because if I can do it, anybody definitely can do it.
In Chillicothe, Jackie Orozco, ABC 6 News.
Now, Sanders has been living at Cheryl's House of Hope since October 25th. She's trying to get her degree and wants to go into counseling to help other young women struggling with addiction. For now, reporting live here in the studio, Jackie Orozco, ABC 6 News.
It's a very complicated process to enforce the human trafficking laws and to prosecute the case, right? Because it requires the witnesses to be involved in it. It requires quite a bit, actually.
Whitehall Police Chief Mike Crispin says they're still working on last week's case that busted these 3 people, Samantha Miller, Dustin Speakman, and David DeHouse. All of them are facing drug charges. Officers found 12 women inside David's home. Chief Crispin says they're potential victims of human trafficking.
Heroin and human trafficking are connected. So that tip allowed us to then potentially save 12 ladies if they take the advice. So how big is the problem? It's historic. It's been that way for a very long time, right? So it's very difficult to put a number to it.
But David DeHouse says there's more to the story. He's out of jail and told us off camera. He says many of the women still live here with him on Reuben Avenue, and they're not victims of human trafficking. His lawyer told him not to speak with us on camera, but this is what he told us last week.
A lot of these drug rehab places are full. They can't get in. They have no place to go. They can come here and get and eat, get a shower, and get off the street.
Chief Crispin says they've interviewed all those women the day of the drug bust and offered them help from the Salvation Army. But it's up to them if they want to take it.
For some, it is a vicious cycle. For some, it's because they have nothing else to go to. Some end up going right back to it, and we'll run right back into them again, and we'll just repeat the process. And eventually, hopefully, just like the opiate addiction.
Now, Chief Crispin tells me that if any of the 3 suspects are charged with human trafficking, they can face up to 10 years in prison.
So, Jackie, you said you went back to the house. Did you see any of the women? How are they doing?
Yeah, well, that's a little hard to say. I was able to see a few of them. Now, when we were there, David said that we weren't able to speak with them because they all had the same attorney. And again, the attorney told them not to speak with us on camera. But David did tell me that he is still taking care of them and trying to keep them sober. We're now reporting live here at the Whitehall Police Department. Jackie Orozco, ABC 6 News.
Masonique and them don't listen to me. She's just one of those people.
Jason Williams is Masonique Saunders' uncle. He's shocked that she's facing murder.
They should have had to pay for the robberies, but no one should have lost their life. He should have never lost his life over this situation.
Police arrested Saunders on Thursday, nearly a week after a deadly shooting on Mount Vernon and North Champion Avenues. Investigators say Saunders and her boyfriend, Julius Tate, tried to rob an undercover officer. Officers say Tate pointed a gun at a cop and was shot and killed. But his girlfriend is the one being charged with his death.
You're responsible because you kicked the whole thing off by planning and engaging in the armed robbery itself where the death results. So it's a felony murder rule. Even if it's my accomplice, I can be charged.
Her family tried to get her back home Friday morning, but the judge said no.
Even also tried to get her out on house arrest. But the judge denied that because obviously Masonique had other charges, whatever, and she's on probation, and because the severity of the case.
Just check out her long criminal history. Last year, she stole hundreds of items from Walmart worth more than $1,000 twice. She also threatened a person with a butcher knife the same day she stole beauty products and clothes from Walmart. In 2014, she was caught with marijuana at her middle school, got into fights with girls, a teacher, and the assistant principal in 2015. Williams says he knows his niece isn't perfect, but says things shouldn't have gone this far.
That's my sister's daughter. But it's really about my sister should have made sure that she knew exactly what her daughter was doing. And honestly, she's 16 years old. There's no reason why she should have had her 16-year-old daughter and her boyfriend living together, even doing any of that. Check their phones, figure out what's going on. This is not like a slap on the wrist. This is something real serious. This is big time.
The judge told me Saunders will remain in detention until her next court date on December 20th. For now, reporting here in downtown Columbus, Jackie Orozco, ABC 6 News. This morning, a Columbus man is shocked and furious after he says a mechanic vandalized his car with a hateful message.
After getting the runaround from the company, he's sharing his story to warn others.
I went straight to the company looking for answers.
Take a good look at this. The word gaze is painted underneath Nick Wolf's SUV.
I just couldn't believe that, I take my car for an oil change, and especially a place like Take 5, that they would actually write that on my car because, it's a well-known company. So I just kind of was, I would say more so hurt, and it was very discriminatory.
We took a look for ourselves.
Just literally right there.
Wolf says he took his car for an oil change here last Saturday. After they finished the job, Wolf says they told him he had a major oil leak. So he took it to his mechanic to get it checked out and discovered the hateful message.
He literally looked at me and he was just like, that same paint that is on that oil plug is the same paint that's in the front of your car. Because I was standing right here, that's when I noticed it when he was putting my car down, and then I seen gaze, and when he pointed that out, that was why I took the initiative to call Take 5.
But Wolf says he was getting nowhere with the company, so he posted his frustration on Facebook, and hundreds of people have shared and commented on his pictures. We wanted to get answers from the company too, but they told us to call the district manager.
District manager for Take 5 Oil Change in Columbus, Ohio.
We left a message, then the company sent us this statement, quote, "At Take 5 Oil Change, we believe in treating all our customers with respect and apologize to anyone who was offended by the insensitive treatment this customer received. The employee responsible for this incident has been terminated." But Wolf says that's not enough.
Number one, the paint needs to be removed off my car. I think that is a start. I think the company owes me an apology.
He says even if he does get a personal apology from the company, he's never coming back.
Being part of the LGBT community as well, you know, I'm standing up for just anyone in general who might want to get an oil change. You know, we have rights.
Take 5 Oil Change told me all employees will be taking a mandatory anti-discrimination early this year, and employees where this all happened on Reynoldsburg, New Albany Road, while they completed their training on Friday. A Chillicothe mom who overdosed while giving birth at a Burger King bathroom is opening up to her old high school.
The story made national headlines. Now Elizabeth Sanders says that she is even planning to travel to the East Coast to share her story.
I've been following her road to recovery, and it's a story you only see right here on Good Day Columbus.
As Elizabeth Sanders shakes off her jitters.
I feel like it's the calm before the storm right now. I'm good. How are you? A little bit.
Students enjoyed watching a one-on-one basketball game between the staff and state troopers. The 26-year-old mom was invited to speak at her old high school about staying clean.
It started when I was here, when I was going to football games and hiding and drinking.
Many students here can relate one way or the other.
How many people in here know someone or directly are affected by addiction, by drugs?
About 80% of them raised their hands.
A good thing about here and about Huntington School is that even if they might not know a lot about what the issue is or what the problem is, they will go above and beyond to address it.
Sanders says she's staying clean for her son, 4-month-old Elias.
He's perfect. He's got a little cold right now. He's a little bit raspy, but he's 100% healthy.
Sanders says she didn't get up to here until she hit down here, and it all started at this Burger King when her baby was born in a toilet.
She gave birth to a baby boy in the bathtub, in the toilet, and they thought it was dead. There's blood everywhere.
Back in August, Chillicothe police body cam video captured Sanders passed out in the bathroom. She told us she was on Xanax and heroin and doesn't even remember giving birth.
The opioid crisis is so rampant in our district and others statewide. I mean, it's a big problem.
Now, Sanders' teachers couldn't be happier for her.
I'm just so proud of her.
And her new mission to help others stay clean, especially after making national news.
I'm just so glad now that she's on the right path.
Sanders says she's in a happy place now and is looking forward to spending Christmas with the entire family.
Yeah, and we're just gonna stay with my mom and open presents with Draven, the 4-year-old, and my 8-year-old daughter, Audrey, and his first Christmas.